There's a different feeling in the air. Can you feel it? Can you sense it? Do you know it? What is that? It's football! We had football today. Welcome in, everyone, to the College Football Show late night here at the Voice of College Football, Week 0. Whoever coined the phrase, that's fine. I don't have a big issue with it. Of course, Week 1, everybody plays. Week 0, had a few football games tonight. How about that? We will get into them, including a huge matchup in the Big 12 that went right down to the couple minutes, not necessarily right down to the wire, as Iowa State outperformed Kansas State in the fourth quarter and won a huge game in the Big 12. Amazon links in the description section of all the videos. I cannot stress how important it is for you to shop on Amazon if you have any desire for this channel, this network to continue. I am still strong enough to dig ditches. I can still do that. So, and if I started doing that, then I would probably start a YouTube channel, or I would just continue this YouTube channel and I would show my various ditch digging techniques. I would take video of that and shoot. You can the channel's monetized with like 46,000 subs, so I might as well show my ditch digging capabilities. That's probably all I'm qualified to do besides talk college football. Yes, I am the voice of college football. This is the voice of college football. You are the voice of college football community. So thanks so much for being here. $150 gets us to the second hour. Appreciate that. I will stay here all night at $100 per. And we're going to get to all the action. We've left the link in the chat if you would like to call the show. Of course, we want to talk college football with you. But I'm going to go through the scores, and I'm going to tell you what I think of what's going on in college football today. But before we do that, a special shout out. What did we call those before they were shout outs? Because I hate the term shout out. We just said basically we recognize Wolverine Nation. Wolverine Nation, I hope you are listening right now. I got a message from Wolverine Nation today that he hopes to be fully back in regards to listening to the voice of college football, but he thanked me for helping him just a smidge during a really rough 2024-25. He's had a couple shoulder surgeries, and Wolverine Nation, hey, buddy, hang in there. God bless you. Hang in there. We are praying for you. I will pray for you tonight. I have prayed for you in the past. Thanks for updating me. I do appreciate that, Wolverine Nation. We thank you for your loyalty, for your support. And again, man, that sounds like an excruciating time. So hang in there. And we hope to see you back in full strength and firing those 95-mile-an-hour fastballs soon. Wolverine Nation, this show is dedicated to you. $150 in super chats for a second hour. All right. We'll come back with scores and my breakdown of the games and your calls in just a second. But first, college football is even more exciting when you've got some action on the line, and the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the voice of college football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread, and I've got a 40-plus year track record. 11-0 in the college football playoff for me last year against the money line, 8-3 against the spread. And I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill of Wager Talk is our ace in the hole, show stopper. 7 years with the voice of college football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick. 28-12 against the spread the last 3 years. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Corey Bratta, Matt Zemek, and Steve Dace. Check out those numbers. Become a YouTube or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and then select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2025 a winner now. Do you all notice what is different about the set? Different not from last night, different from 1 minute ago before the video played. Anybody? Oh, I thought, did anybody play today that we've got a helmet for? Yes, the mighty Stanford Cardinal. We've got one team represented today on our helmet shelf. So we put Stanford front and center, struggling with the Rainbows of Hawaii, the Rainbow Warriors, or whatever they call themselves these days. Are they just the Rainbows or the Rainbow Warriors? It's all silly and confusing to me in terms of political correctness. So who cares? Rainbow Warriors, what are they? Anyway, let's go to the scoreboard. And before we do, since I did show you the VOCF betting tier, so you can get that right here on the YouTube channel or on Patreon, that I did officially make a pick today, even though nobody saw it. So I will acknowledge I missed the money line, but I got the game against the spread because I was out running errands. I was going to post that to the channel community page before noon when they kicked off in Dublin, but I did not get home in time. They were about 2 series deep in the game, and I watched. I reversed the record and went back, and I watched every play of this Iowa State-Kansas State game. And so I picked Kansas State to win. I picked Iowa State against the spread. So 1-0 against the spread and 0-1 against the money line. Now, starting next week, of course, Steve Merrill with his under the radar selection, exclusive here at the Voice of College Football. My picks, I pick about 22 to 25 games, all the top 25 games each week. Corey Breda, Matt Zemek, and Steve Dace with their 12-pack selections as well. So let's see, between all that, you get like 65 predictions per week here at the Voice of College Football. Also, you know, before we get started here, we left you in limbo last night. So I made my predictions known for the college football season in regards to all the conferences and all the records. And then we selected our college football playoff teams. Well, my college football playoff teams, but I made them known to you. And then we left it at 1 through 12. We seeded the teams. And then today, now this score today was not good for my college football play. I don't remember there being a time in which the very first game of the season impacted my college football playoff predictions at all, especially to this degree. So let's revisit this before we get to today's games. I have Penn State winning the Big Ten, Clemson the ACC, Alabama the SEC, and Kansas State the Big 12. Now, keep in mind, I did have Kansas State and Iowa State playing in the Big 12 championship game, so I knew somebody was going to lose this game today. Kansas State winning the Big 12, and Toledo to represent the group of 5, and then there are the seedings 1 through 12. But we left you right there without picking winners in the playoffs. So, round number 1. Georgia beats Toledo. Texas over LSU. Michigan over Kansas State. And Ohio State defeats Oklahoma. Chalk. Reminiscent of Ohio State and Oregon at the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day this past season. Ohio State, the Buckeyes, the 8 seed over Oregon, the 1 seed. Was that an upset? No, the Buckeyes were the favorite. Might be similar this year. Ohio State, the 8, Penn State, the 1, Buckeyes win. Clemson over Michigan. I could go either way on that one. I picked these rather quickly. Alabama over Texas. Well, obviously, even Ohio State and Penn State, it's not like, don't get me wrong here. I picked Penn State to win the Big Ten championship. It's not like I just, Ohio State will automatically beat Penn State. Notre Dame over Georgia. We saw that game last year. Clemson and Michigan have, by the way, never played. That would be nice to see those two teams play at some point. And a playoff game. That would be phenomenal. That leads us to the Final Four with Ohio State over Notre Dame. We've seen that before. Alabama over Clemson. We've seen that before. 2015, 16, 17, 18, 4 years in a row. And then your national champion is Alabama over Ohio State. Let me make one critique of the national polls that seems a bit odd to me before we get to today's games. And that would be that I've not seen anyone pick Ohio State to win the national championship, and that's fine. They've got a very young team. They're replacing all sorts of production. We know that they loaded up for last year and went for it, but they expect, obviously, to compete for a national championship every season. But I find it kind of strange that nobody seems to give them a chance to win the national championship, but they are a consensus top 5 team in the country. Therefore, if they're a consensus top 5 team in the country, that means they're going to be in the playoff. Well, if they make the playoff, they're going to make it through to some degree. Sure, they could have 2 losses, but they're going to make it through Texas, Penn State, Illinois, Washington, trips to those 2 teams, Washington and Illinois, and a trip to Michigan. They're going to make it through all that, make the college football playoff, but they're not going to win a national championship. Well, man, if they survive all that and get to the CFP, I think they're going to be seasoned by then. I think this young team is going to be well seasoned. That's one thing I will say. It only makes sense. But I did not anticipate at the beginning of this picking Alabama to win the national championship. So, Kalen DeBoer, you're up. Kirby Smart, can you win the big one and break through? Ryan Day, can you break through, finally win the big one? Who else has been in that category recently? Ryan Day, Kirby Smart, well, Jim Harbaugh, obviously, but he's out of the game. He's got a show cause, from what I understand. Show cause? Jim Harbaugh, I think he wants to get back into college football coaching. Maybe he can do that when he's like 73, something like that. Okay. But Kalen DeBoer is going to break through this year over Ohio State. I picked Ohio State to win the national championship last year, and I picked them to defeat. I would have to go back. All right, so enough of that. We'll see how we do. I got to say, I felt very uneasy, as I typically do, in picking these playoff teams. But once we rounded out that field, I thought, I feel pretty good about that. Let's get to the games from today. And let's update the scoreboard. What we've got working right now, man, doesn't that look nice? Isn't that pretty? We've got box scores. What my attempt to do each and every week during the college football season, this is me being anal. I understand. But it is hard for me to go to sleep, which is usually like 4 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday morning, Saturday night, Sunday morning after college football, because I'm here with you until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Then I'm working on the top 25. That actually makes sense. But the other thing I'm doing is I like to look at every box score in the country, and I like to read the game recap for every game in the country. All right, Western Kentucky leads Sam Houston 41-24. Looks like the Hilltoppers will go to 1-0. They lead 41-24. Conference game right out of the gate between Western Kentucky and Sam Houston. Stanford trailing Hawaii 17-13. I caught some of this game, couple drives, more than a couple drives. Ben Gulbranson, the former Oregon State quarterback who won his first game against Stanford back in 2022 with a late touchdown pass, 28-27, is now the Stanford quarterback and replacing Ashton Daniels. Hawaii has a pretty young stud at quarterback by the name of Alahado that they were talking up. He's a lefty. And of course, Hawaii produces quite the quarterback group. They usually go elsewhere except Timmy Chang. But Mr. Alahado would be the most recent touted Hawaii quarterback, but Stanford trailed 17-13. The most notable act in this game was Stanford was up by 3. Stanford was up 13-7. We were nearing the end of the first half, and Hawaii ran an ill-fated double reverse flea flicker. Took forever to hand these balls off and pitch them and flip them. And so Stanford blows up this play. Defensive lineman by the name of Clay Patterson. Hawaii back for like this was reminiscent of Bob Greasy and Bob Lilly in Super Bowl VI, like a 25-yard loss. Still the longest sack in the history of the Super Bowl. Super Bowl VI, look it up. It's like a 29-yard loss. So Hawaii is thrown all the way back to their own like 25-yard line, about to punt. Nope. This kid goes into some kind of TikTok dance, and they throw the unsportsmanlike flag, and it was like a 50-yard reversal. By the time you take away the loss and tack on the 15-yard penalty, the automatic first down, Hawaii scored a lead touchdown 14-13 with actually a former Stanford wide receiver, Jackson Harris, scoring the touchdown for Hawaii. So they led 14-13, now have extended their lead to 17-13. Stanford's got the ball, and we are near the end of the third quarter. Earlier today, check out the instant analysis that I posted on Iowa State's big win against Kansas State 24-21. Probably the key decision in this game. 8 minutes left. Kansas State's down 3. They've got the ball at their own 32. They've got a fourth and probably a half yard to a yard. They run a quarterback keeper on a sweep to Avery Johnson, and he comes up short. A lot of Kansas State people, maybe a lot of general college football fans, felt as though the spot was a little bit short. I think they shorted him as well, but I still doubt if he made the first down. This is one thing in college football and the NFL, I believe, that just seems to be archaic, is the spotting of the football. That we are this is the one thing that we've not mastered that I can think of in the sport of officiating this game, is the spotting of the football. You would think they could put a chip in the football or do something where they know, okay, the chip's here, like it's right in the middle of the ball, or it's at the end of the ball, or whatever. Boom, that's where the ball goes. Mark that ball at the 37-yard line and then 4 inches. That's where the back of the ball should be. So anyway, Kansas State does not get it. Now, think about this. In retrospect, it appears as though, Chris Kleiman made a stupid tactical decision. This is a la Scott Frost, week 0 against Northwestern, onside kick with the lead in the fourth quarter. I don't believe so. It's a questionable call, sure. You punt the ball, you're down 3, 8 minutes left of a pretty defensive-minded game, although the offensive passing games opened up in the fourth quarter, and we had some big offensive plays from the passing game on both sides. So it was a defensive-oriented, definitely the first half was sloppy offense, and the defensive lines on both sides dominating. Kansas State had 4 sacks early. And a bit of a shootout late. Not a shootout, but again, big scoring plays in the passing game by both teams. But still, 8 minutes left, and you're within a half yard of a first down, and you're down by 3. If you punt it, and let's say Iowa State gets 2 first downs, you're down inside maybe 2 to 3 minutes left, and you got to score. You probably only have 1 more possession. I think it was worth a gamble. If you can't pick up a half yard, you're down by 3, 8 minutes left. And Iowa State was moving the football. So I think Chris Kleiman was also thinking, my defense may not stop them, because they were not. Iowa State 17 points in the second half. And again, Rocco Becht with a touchdown run in this one. He fired a couple touchdown passes to Dominic Overby, and also Brett Eckelson had a touchdown on this. And of course, Iowa State has replaced those 2 NFL wide receivers, Jalen Noel and Jaden Higgins. So Iowa State with a big win, 24-21. Also, of course, Carson Hansen hit a nice game for Iowa State, especially in the fourth quarter, and wearing down the Kansas State defense. And so big win for the Cyclones in the Big 12. UNLV held off Idaho State 38-31. We've got Alex Orji as the backup quarterback at UNLV, starting quarterback at Michigan, backup at UNLV. And the starting quarterback for Vegas is one Anthony Calandria, the former Virginia starter. And UNLV was a 25.5-point favorite in this one, but they held on 38-31. And of course, that's Dan Mullen's debut in Vegas. You see Kansas defeated Fresno State 31-7. Fresno State scored a touchdown on his first possession with Kurt Warner's kid playing quarterback, E.J. Warner. He threw a couple interceptions. I saw some of this game. LeSean Williams was running well, the former Iowa running back for Kansas. Again, 31-7, Kansas over Fresno State. All right, time to take calls. We've got them coming in. We got Michael on the line. Michael, how you doing?
Hey, Mark. Good evening, sir. How's your weekend?
It's going just fine. How are you?
Yeah, except for the job market, but hopefully that gets better for me. Anyway, I got a question in reference to the if I'm not mistaken, Chris Kleiman went for it on 4th and 3 twice, right? Back-to-back series.
That's a good question. I could look that up in the play-by-play. I do not recall. I just talked about the other one. Did they?
I don't.
Well, it was not 4th and. I don't think it was 4th and 3, was it?
I don't know if it was 3, but
the
it was
second one was like 1.
I don't know, the one that they replayed. The first one, I think, is the first one they won the replayed to where it looked like it gave him a bad spot.
Yes. There was 8 minutes left there. Yeah.
Okay. My thing is, how was it? They got cameras all over the place, if I'm not mistaken. How come there was no picture shown from the Kansas State sideline? And is that what they based their decision off of? Because they didn't really have a good angle, or does replay have all angles from both sides?
Well, replay has every angle of the TV broadcast. That's what replay has.
But obviously they didn't have the one, because I was just like wondering why they didn't have one from the camera looking from the Kansas State pitch. Because it looked like the ones they showed couldn't really tell. I think if they would have had one from the Kansas State sideline, they might have had a better view and could have overturned it.
Yeah, from what I could tell, the linebacker or safety for Iowa State that knifed in there at the end hit Avery Johnson in such a way that he could not extend the ball, did not extend the ball. And so his progress was at a certain point, but it's not like he was leaning forward. He was kind of moved backward and to the side and did not extend the football. I don't think he made it. Now, I'm not saying that declaratively. I'm just saying that it didn't look like it. And you're right. There aren't good ways to determine that. And it's confusing to me with all the technology we have that we don't have a better way of determining where the ball gets spotted on every play. I think it should be more accurate. It just seems like the officials, they do their best. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm trying to think. The 2 angles that I remember that I continued to see were the ones that you just talked about in regards to from, I guess it was the Kansas State sideline. I don't know. You saw Avery Johnson's back as he was going to, so you couldn't see where the ball was exactly. Although I don't think there was any question. He was cradling the ball against his chest. So it's pretty easy to determine where the football was, but you didn't see it. And then they kept showing the angle from behind center as well. Those are the 2 replays that I remember seeing over and over and over.
Okay. I'm trying to remember what they called the series. Barn something?
Farmageddon.
All right. Now, I read something about it or seen something. I think it was on ESPN or Sporting News. I can't remember. But this could be the last time they play for several years because of the expansion of the conference or something. But wouldn't they be able to protect the games from the past and stuff like that and do this more?
Just to extend on our previous conversation, before we move on to that topic, our buddy Joey Foster is telling us, I think they have extra camera angles supplied from the stadium-owned cameras as well. I don't know anything about that, but that could be the case.
True. But as far as again, I thought I seen something about this. Might be the last time they don't play for several years or something.
Yeah, they don't play for several years. This makes absolutely no sense. This is a botched deal by the Big 12. So the Big 12 is obviously lagging behind the Big 10 and the SEC by eons. And you would think that they would be protecting the best games in the conference. This is not difficult. This is not a genius move in any such way. Let me take over the scheduling, or anybody with any brains, and nobody cares if Arizona State plays Cincinnati or UCF plays Utah, which was a final Thanksgiving weekend game in the Big 12 last year. The scheduling in the Big 12 is horrendous. This is one of only about 5 or 6 games in the Big 12 that has to be protected and played every year. These are old rivals, the old guard of the Big 12, Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, Iowa State, Kansas State, those teams, Baylor, TCU, their games, not all of them, but their rivalry games need to be protected. So you're right. They're not playing for like a couple years. Stupidity beyond belief by the Big 12.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I see the SEC picked up the 366. Did the ACC also do the 366 like the Big 10 does?
366 meaning you have 3 protected rivalries.
Yep.
The Big 10 no longer has 3 protected rivalries.
I thought it was like
it's different for every team, and that's the way it should be. They finally figured that out, that some teams have 3 rivals, some don't have 3 rivals. You don't force rivalries. The SEC was always stupid in forcing cross-division rivalries between like the likes of Ole Miss and Vanderbilt and South Carolina and Texas A&M that made no sense. The ACC did the same thing for 25 years, and forcing rivalries like Boston College and Virginia Tech played every year. That made no sense.
Well, didn't I go back to the Big East days, though, when they was both in the Big East?
Fine. Again, just because. So you're familiar with what the SEC division format used to look like, the East and the West, correct?
Yep. Same thing with the Big 10.
Same thing with the Big 10. But the Big 10 didn't do what the SEC and the ACC did, meaning they had a set game, quote unquote, rivalry game between every team in the East and every team in the West. Well, some of them made sense. Alabama and Tennessee got split into 2 separate divisions, so the SEC protected that game for it to be played every year. Georgia-Auburn, the oldest rivalry in the South, same thing. Fine, protect those games, but the other team, not every team has to have a protected game with the other division. So Kentucky, Mississippi State made no sense. Ole Miss and Vandy made no sense. South Carolina, Texas, they don't need those. In the Big 10, you're right. It was a 3 protected rivalry situation. Well, but all those teams were in basically the only thing that the Big 10 guaranteed was Indiana and Purdue cross division. They played, but there were no other games in the Big 10 that were protected. Now, that was what they were going to do.
Okay. I remember they said they were going to protect Purdue, Illinois, and then Purdue, Iowa, too, I think it was.
That's what they were going to do.
Okay.
But they smartly said, no, now we've entered in these 4 teams from the West Coast, and we're only going to protect the games that matter. So Iowa's got 3 protected games, Wisconsin, Nebraska, and Minnesota. Penn State has no protected games, 0.
Okay.
Purdue has Illinois and Indiana. I don't think they've got a third one. Maybe they do, but I know that they've got those 2.
Iowa. Hang on. Go ahead.
No, Iowa and not Purdue is not a protected game. Iowa has 3. It's Nebraska, Wisconsin, and Minnesota.
Okay. I was just... It did stuff like that. Speaking of Auburn, how good of a game do you think that might be next week with Baylor?
Excellent. Excellent game. Can't wait to see it. I wonder when that is.
Next Saturday, I believe.
Well, I know it's on Saturday, but you know,
I think it's at 3:30.
Baylor. It's probably a Fox game.
It's
I
the
don't
Fox.
know. Anyway,
It's the Fox game, and I'm thinking maybe 3:30 or 4:00.
yeah, that's I'm gonna like watching that game. It sounds like my 3:30 is gonna be Alabama, Florida State, and Baylor, Auburn. Yeah, can't wait for that one.
Yeah, too bad they can't do it like they do for high school, because I got a feeling some of those games next week might be to where they might have to implement a mercy rule.
Mercy rule?
Yeah.
For what?
I just got a feeling some of those games next week might be ugly. I don't know which one.
Like who? What game?
I'm thinking, I don't know off the top of my head. I'm thinking maybe Alabama, because I got a feeling, I don't know how good Florida State's going to be this year.
Well, yeah, that is the possibility of a blowout, sure. But
yeah.
I don't want to see a bunch of millionaire 18-year-olds having to play in a mercy rule. They got to stick it out and stay out there.
Yeah, like that too. So, which way do you think the Ohio State Texas game is going to be a 3 to 7 point finish?
Who?
Or do you think Ohio State Texas next Saturday?
Yeah, I don't know who I'm going to pick yet.
No, I know that, but I'm saying, do you think it'll be a 3 to 7 point margin of victory, or do you think
no?
It might be...
I think it's going to be at least a 5 touchdown win, but I just don't know who's going to win.
Okay, fair enough. I was just wondering. All right,
Michael,
sir.
Do you think I'm serious when I make that statement?
No, you're not serious.
Okay, thank you. Why are you asking me if it's going to be a close game? Yes, we believe it's going to be a close game. Yes.
Just wondering stuff like that. No,
if I don't know who's going to win, then I generally would think it's going to be a close game.
Okay. Well, I mean, you can pretty much know who you think is going to win, but I digress. Right. Anyway, I got to get this done to you, because I'm like, I got to get this Phil Steele magazine to you, man. I am having so much bad luck. I should have already had one by now, but I don't. So, but I'm going through some personal issues. You know what they are. All right. I'm getting off the phone. I'm going to catch the rest of the show. Is the late night show on tomorrow night?
You get a break from me tomorrow night. You get to hang out with the lovely ladies, Minnie and Doreen.
Okay. What happened to the show that Ben and all them did last year? That was the one and done?
Well, we don't have a host for that show.
Oh, wow.
We are looking for a host. So if anybody knows any capable hosts, I advertised that for a few weeks, and I got to say I completely forgot about it after that. But yeah, if somebody wants to host and they're capable of hosting, that's the key. Any people out there, folks, if you want to nominate anyone for the After the Dark show, we would love to fire that up, because that is our membership show.
Okay. Sounds good. Hey, Mark, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for taking my call, man.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
You too.
We actually could have stayed on the line with Michael, for the rest of the hour, because nobody else has called. So grab the link and give me a call. We have covered all the games. And also want to let you know that we've got a 24-hour marathon. So I'm doing this the smart way this year. I finally wised up on this one. Let me get to our graphic here. Yes. If you're familiar with us here at the Voice of College Football, you know that this is about a 5th consecutive year that we're doing a 24-hour Voice of College Football kickoff marathon. Week 1 starts on Thursday. So, of course, we got football on Thursday, football on Friday. So the first smart thing I did was I used to start this at, oh my goodness, sometime during the day on Thursday, which meant I had to stay on all day, all night, and then into the next day. Dumb. I started at like 9 o'clock in the morning. So that meant I had to stay on until 9 o'clock morning the next day. So we corrected that a couple years ago. I come on at 5 in the morning, and we got to take it to Friday morning at 5 a.m. But lucky for me, we've had Matt Zemek pick up the late night shift. So I get to cut out for like the last 3 hours. And we're also going to implement something that is going to be worth our while. this year. So this is what I'm doing. You will see me here Thursday at 5 a.m. Eastern time. If I'm 2 minutes late, forgive me. If I'm 7 minutes late, forgive me. It's 5 a.m. in the morning. I will attempt to be here at 5 a.m. Okay, here's the deal. First hour, I will be here for a full hour. And we will try to hit our super chat quotas. So this is all based on your support. So if you want me to do 24 hours, I'll be here gladly for 24 hours. So I will be here from 5 to 6. And if we receive our quota of super chats, $100 per hour, then I'll go from 6 to 7. I'll just keep going. And I will be here for 24 straight hours. Well, I will be here for 21 straight hours, and Matt will finish up the last 3 hours. But as soon as, and hopefully this does not occur, we do not reach our quota, then I'll say, see ya, and I will go do something else. And so at whatever point that happens, that could be at 6 a.m., that could be at whatever time. And then I'll give it another shot at, let's say, noon Eastern. And then I'll give it another shot at, let's say, 5 Eastern. And then if that doesn't work out, I will say I'm going to go watch football, because I think Boise State plays South Florida at 5:30 Eastern on Thursday night. So I'm looking forward to that. So again, please support the 24-hour Voice of College Football Marathon that starts Thursday at 5 a.m. Eastern Time. And so I will be on here at 5 a.m. and I will see a lot of people in the chat that I have not seen for a long time, since we were doing that morning show from my kitchen that we did for about 6 or 7 weeks. And a lot of people like that, but unfortunately not enough people. But the people that liked it seemed to like it, because we do a little breakfast cooking, and it just had a little bit different feel to it. And especially since I'm getting up earlier, a lot earlier than I used to. Like, I made that show for, was it 7 in the morning? I think it was 8 in the morning. And that seemed like super early to me. But man, I've been getting up, hitting the gym at 5 a.m. in the morning, and that's after sleeping like 2 hours. All right. I'm never sleeping past 7 a.m. now. I have reconstructed my body clock. Okay. All right, so this is the first of many Saturdays with all of you here at the Voice of College Football. So if this is your first season with us, this is what we do each and every season, is talk college football with you and recap all the games on Saturday night. And we got some calls coming in now. So we got Porter on the line. Porter, what's going on?
Hey, good evening, Mark. Hopefully I'm sitting outside. I hope the cicadas aren't too loud. So, but if they are, let me know.
You're going to quiet them down for us.
What? You there?
I don't know if you're there, but we hear a word every so often. You there, Porter?
Mark?
Porter, we'll give you one
Hello?
more shot on this one. You may have to call back.
Hello?
You there?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Porter.
Good. Well, first of all, happy start of the football season. It's been a while since I called in.
Yeah, always good to hear from you.
It's been a long time, but didn't really call in much in the off season. But just wanted to say, hey, it's something I look forward to every year, and obviously your show is part of the enjoyment that I get out of the college football season. So,
thank you.
Is it okay to kind of talk about pretty wide range of topics, or do we want to talk? Okay. What do you think about the SEC going to 9 games? I'll be honest with you, I was pretty surprised by it.
I was pretty surprised by it as well, because this is how I saw things breaking down. Is that, for one thing, it's been pretty obvious that there was some type of internal struggle within the SEC. You know, we had guys like Nick Saban, who's pretty prominent, saying that the SEC should play 9 games. So there's a financial incentive there, of course, because you're adding 8 quality games to the schedule, as opposed to whatever games are going to get taken off the schedule from a non-conference standpoint. We can address that just in a second. And then there were forces within college football, obviously pressuring the SEC, but the SEC shouldn't be pressured by anyone. They have proven to be able to do whatever they want, and they're like Teflon, because when you win and you have as much popularity as the conference, and college football is going to be structured the way it has been forever, then you continue to do what you want. So what I saw here was the SEC proposing this 5+11 playoff system, and the Big Ten and Tony Petitti saying, no, we want to go with this 4-4-2-2-1-3 business, and then both being very public in their stances. And I thought, it's going to be interesting to see who wins this battle and who backs down, because it's not going to look good for either conference or either commissioner to not get their way. And so as soon as Sankey pulled back on this one to go to 9 games, which is, of course, what the Big Ten wants and what the Big 12 wants, I thought, well, does this mean that the SEC is going to win the playoff battle and get their way for the playoff format? Was this was kind of worked out behind the scenes? So I'm guessing, Porter, that we probably align in this, that even though from a technical standpoint, it would be great if all the conferences played the exact number of games, because it just makes sense. If everything were equal, the talent and the quality of the leagues were equal, yes, to play 9 conference games, that would make sense. However, let's understand that the SEC is the best conference in America, and Big Ten fans don't want to hear that. And I hail from Big Ten country, and the Big Ten might be better at the top, but the SEC is still the best conference, and of course was indisputably the best conference for close to 20 years. So the argument that the SEC played a tough enough schedule and their teams played tough enough schedules was completely valid, did not need to be defended in any way. And the other conferences moaning and whining about, you only play 8 games and we play 9 games, therefore our schedules are tougher, was laughable and stupid. I understand their point, but it in reality did not make sense. But in terms of the final conclusion in this, yes, Greg Sankey, I believe, does what he wants and does what's in the best interest of the SEC. So he weighed the pros and cons. I don't think he was pressured into this. I think it was that he determined, okay, we can handle the 9 games. And with this advanced metric that's being introduced by the College Football Playoff Committee, he feels confident that substandard records or 1 game less records in the SEC by teams that are playing brutal schedules will be taken into account. And I got one other point before I let you cut loose on this. It'll be interesting to see the impact of the non-conference games, because as you well know, and your team plays one of them, you've got 4 teams that automatically play ACC rivals at the end of the year. So do they continue to take on another difficult assignment like Georgia does normally, not this season, but Clemson, Oregon, whomever they've played in the past? And of course, Florida plays both Florida State and Miami this year. So do you continue to do that and only play 1 weak non-conference opponent? I doubt it. So we should expect over the next several months to say, okay, well, the Alabama-Ohio State series has been canceled or whatever else.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that worries me is as an SEC guy is, you think about the Big Ten country, and there are very few of those interconference rivalries that the Big Ten has to deal with. I guess Penn State Pitt is the only one that's really popping into my head right now.
Yeah, but they don't always play like the SEC teams do against the ACC.
Yeah, exactly.
Really, it's USC and Notre Dame. Is the only one that's played.
Yeah, Notre Dame.
Sorry, Iowa State.
Yeah, Iowa State. Yeah, that's a good example. I wasn't thinking about that. But
that's it.
The thing that we have to deal with down here is you have Florida playing Florida State, my alma mater playing Georgia Tech. I mean, it's just when you add that
Clemson, South Carolina. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. When you add that extra conference game, plus you have that rivalry, either across the border or within your state, mostly in your state. Those are the ones I'm thinking about around Thanksgiving. It just causes the schedule to just be just brutal. And
Sure.
but I think what I'm hoping happens, Mark, is there was this common, I don't know, it wasn't written in stone or anything, but there was always, during the 14 playoff, it was always like, if you lose 2 games, you're out. And then last year it was always, if you lose 3 games, you're out. It's not written in stone. It's not a tenet of the playoff committee, but it was always that kind of, well, you better not lose 3 or you're out and all this other stuff. I hope with what we're going towards with the expansion of the playoff, obviously, the expansion of the playoff, obviously, but I just hope that we can look at a 9-3 team, and I'm not just saying from my conference. I'm
Sure.
just talking a 9-3 team deserves to get in if you have a schedule like what Florida is about to embark on this year. And I hate to stick up for Florida, but but I give them credit for the brutal schedule they have. So we need to I have no problem going to 9 games, but at the same time, we need to drop this kind of common requirement that, hey, if you win 3, you're out of it, kind of thing. That it always bugged me during the 4-team playoff, because the only team I can think of that possibly could have gotten in during the 4-team with 2 losses was Auburn back in 2017.
Yeah.
That's the only one I could think of. But everybody up to that
Well,
point, and really after that point, was, oh, you lose 2, you're out of it.
well, there's
I
teams
just
that
hope.
there were teams that were given consideration, but yes, Auburn is the only team that we know would have been in the playoff because they were already in the top 4 with 2 losses, and then
Yep.
obviously they would have maintained a 2-loss record with a win against Georgia in the SEC championships game. So obviously they would have stayed in the top 4. They might have been, let's see, that was 2017. They might have been the number 1 team in the country with 2 losses that season. But anyway, you're right. So they were the only one that we know would have made it. Now, Penn State was given consideration. Ohio State was given consideration with 2 losses in different years, but they were at number 5.
Was the Ohio State one when they lost so bad to Purdue that year?
To Iowa.
Oh, Iowa. Okay.
And they also lost to Oklahoma that year, but they won the Big Ten championship. They were 11-2. And they were number 5. And Penn State, the year they won the Big Ten championship, they lost to they beat Ohio State. They got off to a really rough start. They lost 2 games to Pitt and Michigan in the first month, and they went on a tear, won the Big Ten, and eventually the Rose Bowl.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. I mean, I know the committee changes so much. The committee is now saying that they are going to take into account the strength of schedule.
Yes.
But who's to say they could have a turnover on the committee and then, strength of schedule kind of goes out the window? I mean, how do we know? I guess I don't really understand our commissioner having the confidence to go to 9 games when this whole committee changes like the wind.
So I'm going to answer your question, but not answer it at the same time. The criteria will stay the same regardless of who the members on the committee are. But the way in which it's applied, yes, you're absolutely right, can change with new people.
Yeah, it just seems kind of a risky thing for our commissioner to do until number one. I give 2 reasons for it to happen. Number one, ESPN would come through with more money, and I've not heard that ESPN is coming up with more money by adding that extra game. And then number 2 is that kind of set in stone criteria that I thought, it could change, obviously. And it's just not, I don't know. It's just not as solid as I would like it to be, having that criteria. Again, I'm not saying this, believe me, I am not crying about South Carolina getting left out or Ole Miss getting left out last year. Should Indiana have gone over those guys? I'm not going to say, I'm not going to promote one of our rivals, but I don't know. it's tough for Indiana if another Indiana comes out of the blue like they did last year and not play hardly anybody. It's just hard to justify that when you have an Alabama team. Oh gosh, I can't believe I think I'm throwing up my mouth defending those guys. But when you think about it, Alabama did have some of the best wins last year. Beating LSU, Georgia. There's one other win they had that was very
Georgia,
impressive.
LSU. They beat Missouri and they beat
South Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they probably had the best for those that were left out of the playoff. They probably had the best wins. Now, obviously, they got lost. They got beat pretty badly at Oklahoma. But,
so basically, I believe, Porter, that the SEC would have. I'm guessing. I think there's a possibility that the SEC would have advanced the team into the playoff, had a team selected. The order would have been different. So I think South Carolina had the best resume, and they were playing the best. Because you got to consider, number one, they lost to LSU without their starting quarterback, Lenora Sellers, in the second half. And that was a really fluky game. Missed field goal at the end. Didn't have their quarterback. They lose to LSU. They lost to Alabama by 2 points. Very close game in Tuscaloosa. And South Carolina's other loss was they beat Clemson.
Ole Miss. They lost badly to Ole Miss, from what I remember.
Yes, they lost to Ole Miss by 3 touchdowns, but they had good wins against Texas A&M, Clemson, Auburn. Yep. Well, Auburn wasn't good. Some other teams. Anyway, I think that South Carolina had the best resume, and people felt the best about how they were playing football down the stretch. However, they were in back of the line because you had Ole Miss beat them and Alabama beat them, and they're all 9-3, so they had to be in the back of the line.
True.
But I think they would have been given some consideration. Now, if my season pulls through in the way I've predicted it, I've actually got 3 9-3 teams in the playoffs.
That's right. I listened to your show last night. You had, I know you had Georgia in the playoff, but this is a 3 loss, but that 3rd loss I think was in the
championship game. Yeah.
So 10-3. Other than what other 3 lost teams did you have?
So my 3 lost teams, and one of them I'm going to back off on to a certain extent, and you'll know why. I don't know if Ohio State's going to lose 3 games, but anyway, they're still in the playoff at 9-3. Oklahoma 9-3, and LSU. So I had LSU and Texas A&M both 9-3, with LSU winning the head-to-head, therefore getting in.
So you had them losing to Notre Dame?
Texas A&M?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So, and then Notre Dame's in, I believe, from what you said. Okay. Yeah. And again, it depends on how you lose too. If losing the way Bama lost at Oklahoma, that just was not good. So what do you think? What does your gut tell you about what's going to happen after next year? After we get done with this year, what do you think we're going to go to?
16 teams and a 5 plus 11.
I hate to. I mean, I'm kind of on the side of the Big Ten on this, to be honest with you. I like the guaranteed 4 slots, and let me tell you why. And again, I know this goes totally against what our coaches are saying and everything like that.
And as soon as you make this point, Porter, I got to run. But keep going.
Well, what I love about it is when you look at the SEC, all you have to do is get into the top 6 to have a shot. And to me, that should really, if they want to do what I've heard they want to do, which is to let the top 2 teams go ahead and anoint them into the playoff and do a playoff between the 3rd and 6th team and the 4th and the 4th and 5th team. To me, that would generate so much excitement in our league. I mean, I can only imagine what that playoff weekend would be like when you had those teams going at it to win a chance to go to the playoff. I think it would, because think about it. If you got 2 or 3 losses by say mid-October, but then you can say, listen, all we have to do is get that top 6, then we get to the playoff and then just see what happens. I think that I understand the wear and tear on the athlete, and believe I'm not trying to discount that, but I think that weekend would be absolutely amazing. What do you think about that?
I think it's a fun weekend, but I have big issues with it. I just don't think it works from a fairness standpoint. All right, Porter, appreciate you being here. Call back anytime, sir.
Great talking to you, man. See you.
Thanks, man. Always love to hear from Porter. Smart caller. Loves college football, loves the tradition, and thinks things through. All right, look at your screen. I did not believe that this was going to happen, folks. Josh Mahler, thank you. Oklahoma host here at the Voice of College Football. Put this together. This was a goal this year for me to have merch back at the Voice of College Football, but I gave up on it. I did not have the time to deal with it. And I said, does anybody have time to deal with this? And everybody said, no. Nobody took it on for me. Josh comes out of nowhere, not even know that that was my request. Boom. We've got merch, and it's really, really good. It's excellent merch. Yeah, it's that good. All right. vocfb.com/shop. And we will put together some kind of promotional video for you so you can give that a look. But I'm excited, as you can see, because we've sold a couple. We haven't even really launched it, but we've sold a couple, and the people have come back to say this is really quality stuff. Like, this is not the typical like YouTube guy who sells cheap t-shirts for $25 and they suck and they're really not quality. This is really quality stuff. So vocfb.com/shop. Not just the stuff that you see there, but let's see what we got. There we got some hats. We got some shirts. Look at that. Look at this guy over here. He loves that shirt. He's feeling good. He feels like $1 million. Look, we've got mugs. More shirts. Got a tumbler. And that's just the main channel. Then look, you're a Clemson fan? Clemson, Voice of College Football merch. It's beautiful. I haven't even looked at this stuff yet. Love it. Clemson all over the place. Yes. Let's look at somebody else. Iowa State. Hey, celebrate that win today. Get your Voice of College Football Iowa State merch. Do it. Look at that. Good looking stuff. vocfb.com/shop. I'm not going to take this down for like all season. This is all you're going to see all season. So do this and shop on the Amazon link the rest of the time. Shop at the Voice of College Football, vocfb.com/shop. And also the Amazon link, of course. And if I prove not to be a good salesperson, then we'll suffer the consequences. All right. We're overtime. We're in overtime, but we're still going to take Keith's call because we're kind. Keith, how you doing?
Good talk to you again, Mark.
Hello, Keith.
You there, Mark?
Hello, Keith. Yes.
I'm here.
We had this with Porter as well, so maybe it's our hookup on this side of it. Keith, can you hear us?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, Keith, we can hear you.
All right, I turned my mic off and back on again. That seemed to do it. Okay.
Okay.
One point in the UNLV Idaho State, Orgy actually started, but on his first drive, he fumbled. After driving all the way down the field, he fumbled into the end zone and lost the ball. And so he was benched, and the other guy came in.
Yeah, so somebody's got to tell that guy that when you can't throw the football, you at least need to hang on to it when you run.
Yep.
Paramount.
We nominate you to tell them that, Mark.
I would love to tell him that. I would love to have Alex Orgy on the show. You give me any starting quarterback or backup quarterback or third string quarterback in college football, bring him on the show. Absolutely. That'd be great.
Yeah. So yeah, the ninth game for the SEC was mainly, I believe, money. Who wants to see Bama play Robert Morris?
Yeah, but they've known that they were going to make more money. And then also consider, Keith, though, when the likes of Florida has to go to a 9-game schedule and they've got both Florida State and Miami on the non-conference out of only 3 non-conference games, those games that are big money makers, Clemson, LSU, those kind of games, they're going to start to get dropped off the schedule. I'll be shocked if we don't see teams backing out of contracts.
Yeah, I think you're right on track there. Also, Andy and Ari, they went over that. Sankey said that the SEC had to pick 3 annual rivals for each team, and they're hiring some consultant firms to submit. Did you see that part?
I did not see about the consultants, but I did see the 3 teams, and that's stupidity. This is why it's stupidity, Keith. Not everybody has 3 rivals. Some teams have 3, some have 2, some have 1. Look at what the Big Ten did. The Big Ten finally got it right. Penn State, you don't have any rivals? That's okay. We'll still make a schedule for you. Iowa, you've got 3 rivals. Nebraska, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. You've got 3 protected games. Ohio State, you've got a rival. Michigan, that's your only protected. Michigan, you've got 2 rivals. Ohio State and Michigan State. You've got 2. Every team's different.
I disagree with Penn State having no rivals. I mean, Ohio State is a natural rival for Penn State.
Are they really? They're a natural rival. What's that mean?
They're right next to each other. They're both state schools.
So Ohio State and Indiana, they're rivals?
What's that?
Ohio State and Indiana are rivals.
Ohio
State and Purdue are rivals.
Actually, I would say that Indiana and Ohio State could be rivals, yeah, because Ohio State, it would be unfair for Ohio State to have Penn State and Michigan and not an easier.
No, Keith. No, they're not rivals.
You're okay.
And Purdue are not rivals just because they play in states next to each other.
All right. It just seems to me that it should be. And we all look forward to the Penn State Ohio State game every year.
Well, we're going to stop looking forward to it because they're not going to play every year.
Yeah, well, I think when the money talks, when they see what's back in its place and see what the viewership is, I wouldn't be surprised if it restarts as an annual thing.
You might be right. I'm not saying that you're wrong in terms of it being a quality game. It's one of the 2 or 3 best games typically in the conference. And then it's going to make a ton of money because, we do a TV rating series here every offseason, and shoot, Ohio State and Penn State, that's always one of the top 5 or 6 games in the TV ratings. So I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I don't really consider Ohio State and Penn State to be rivals.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. And
Penn really State good game, but I don't think they're rivals.
Obviously, Penn State's not claiming to be Ohio State's rival either.
Nope. Because you're exactly right. Because all of these schools submitted their rivalry requests, and there was communication between schools and the Big Ten Conference to say, this is who we want on our schedule. These are our rivals.
Yeah. And no one asked for Penn State?
Well, for one thing, I got to think that the Rutgers and Marylands of the world that could be considered possibly, and Michigan State, as well as I do, that once Penn State joined the Big Ten, that Penn State and Michigan State played on the final weekend of the season, and they made some kind of trophy out of it, the landmark trophy or the land grant, whatever they call it. And they were kind of rivals, even though I didn't really get that. But why would you claim, if you're Rutgers or Maryland, to me would be the most natural rival for Penn State for me. Why would you claim Penn State and want to play Penn State every year if you're Maryland?
Because Maryland, do they even border Pennsylvania? They border Virginia.
No. Maryland, yes, Maryland. The entire top of the state.
The Cumberland Pass part.
Get out your maps, everyone. See where Maryland. I'm pretty good at geography. Maryland, the entire state. Actually, there's a very thin part of Maryland that if you're in Virginia, you only have to cross Maryland for like a couple miles and you go right into Pennsylvania. But Maryland, yeah, the entire top of the state borders is south of Pennsylvania.
Yeah. I used to work in the Pentagon and drive back to Michigan 3 or 4 times a year, and I do remember that is that I spent time in Virginia, brief time in Maryland, and then I was in Pennsylvania. Yeah, so they do border Pennsylvania. You're right. Okay. Yeah.
If I'm Maryland,
but you think Maryland
football games? I'm not going to claim Penn State as a rival.
Yeah. Okay. I just think what's the driving time between Ohio State and Penn State? Isn't it like 2 hours?
No. I know from Akron, Ohio, where I am from, to State College is like 4.5. So it's at least that far to Columbus. It's 4.5 to 5 hours.
Yeah. Okay. And how far is it from Penn State to Maryland?
Well, we'll do some math here. Happy Valley, PA to College Park, Maryland driving distance. Can't believe we're doing this. 3 hours and 23 minutes.
Oh, 3 hours and 23 minutes. That's about equal from Columbus, because Columbus and PA to me,
no, Columbus is going to be further. It is, well, why didn't it give me the same thing? Oh, I got to replace Maryland with Ohio. That would help. Columbus, Ohio. 5 hours and 12 minutes. 5 hours and 12 minutes. Okay. Yeah, my geography is way off. You're right. I got to defer to you on geography. I'm pretty good at geography. I'm not good at too much, but I always knew my state capitals and where all the states are. And I find it funny when I talk to people and they don't know where like states are and where they are and which states border which states. And yeah, I was always big on that.
Yeah, and I guess that's not as much of a natural rivalry then. I was just thinking that Ohio State and Penn State were just 2 or 3 hours apart. But yeah, you think Maryland would be more of a natural rivalry then?
Yes, because they played in the old Eastern Bloc as independents. They played every year. If you go back into the 80s, early 90s, 80s, 70s, etc.
Yeah.
And there are a few of those. We're already looking at Penn State being in the Big Ten for over 30 years, and they've played Ohio State every year. So I'm not saying that you're not making great points. You are.
Yeah. Did I miss your Big Mover programs?
Big who?
Or the Big Mover program.
The Big Mover program.
Did you do the Big Movers this year?
I don't even. Oh, which teams are going to move?
Yeah.
Up and down?
Yeah.
Good question. Off the top of my head, Oklahoma up, Auburn up, Michigan up. Who else did I have going in one direction or the other? Washington up.
But you did do it though. If I look at their YouTube stuff, I might be able to find it.
No, I just went through my predictions last night on here.
Oh, you just went through the predictions. Okay.
And, let's see who else. I got it right in front of me here. Syracuse down. So here we go. We'll go through it. We've got we'll make 3 wins the criteria here. SMU is going to go from 11 to 8 wins. Florida State's going to go from 2 to 7. I've got Syracuse going from 9 to 5. I've got Michigan going from 7 to 10. I've got Washington going from 6 to 9. And I've got
Oregon going from 10 to 9. I mean 12 to 9, don't you?
There you go. Thank you. Oregon 12 to 9. We've got Colorado going from 9 to 6. Houston going from 4 to 7. I don't know who sold me on Houston being so much improved, but anyway. Kansas, who won tonight against Fresno State easily, going from 5 to 8. Oklahoma from 6 to 9. And that's most of them. Auburn from 5 to 7. Oh, I'm sorry, from 5 to 8. That's most of them right there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because you went through you had to go through all the you would go through all the 133 in the last couple of years, and you would go through and determine all that were going to be big movers.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't do as much content as I used to do, Keith, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, so as for your playoffs, do you think LSU would be the last one at 9-3, or Oregon might be the last one at 9-3?
I've got LSU in tougher schedule.
Who does Oregon play?
They've got one of the weaker schedules in the Big Ten. So right out of the gate, consider that LSU plays Clemson outside the conference and Oregon plays Oklahoma State. So there's a big difference right there. Oregon plays, give me a second here. Oregon's got Montana State, Oklahoma State, Oregon State are the 3 non-conference games. In the Big Ten, they play Northwestern, Penn State, Indiana, Rutgers, Wisconsin, Iowa, Minnesota, USC, and Washington. They play a lot of mid-tier teams. But they
that's not an easy schedule by any means. And what does LSU have?
LSU's got LSU out of conference, Clemson, Louisiana Tech, Southeastern, and Western Kentucky. All right, in the SEC, Florida, Ole Miss, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, Texas A&M, Alabama, Arkansas, Oklahoma.
That sounds like a bunch of mid-SEC teams.
Oh, my goodness. Come on. That's a tougher schedule than Oregon's schedule.
Is Texas A&M that tough?
Yeah.
And they were what, 7-5 last year?
8-4.
8-4. Were they ranked?
I don't care if they were ranked. They were one of the 25 best teams in the country. I have no doubt about that.
Okay.
I don't know if they were ranked. I don't put any stock in people's rankings.
Oh, well.
Myself.
I give the AP some credit and coaches some credit. Yeah. Yeah.
When I say I give them no credit, that doesn't mean that they have a bunch of teams that aren't deserving of being in the top 25, but I have no confidence in their rankings.
Yeah, and you have Texas at 9-3, or do you have them at 10-2?
10-2.
10-2, and 10 in. Oh well, you have the SEC above the Big Ten anyway, so you would have them over Michigan anyways. And
Well, that doesn't mean that every team in the SEC is better than every team in the Big Ten, or that every schedule is tougher in the SEC. I'm not saying that. There's a huge overlap.
Yeah.
There are tougher schedules in the Big Ten than in the SEC.
Yeah. And I would also disagree that I don't see Ohio State losing 3 games. When's the last time they lost 3 games?
Except for when Luke Fickell coached, the interim coach, 2004.
Yeah, I just don't see them losing 3. Losing 2 is a bad year for Ohio State.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Last 20 seasons, Ohio State's lost 20 regular season games. They lose 1 game a year. That's on average.
On average. And two's a bad year, and none's a great year. Yep. So yeah, I would.
I hope
I'd just
right.
adjust them a little bit that way.
Yeah, I understand. All right, Keith. Appreciate you being here.
All right. Always good talking to you, Mark.
Thank you, Keith. Have a good
night. Go Blue.
Had to get that in. All right. Michigander 1212. I'm surrounded by Michigan folks. I got to be surrounded by somebody because we only got like 40 people watching. So I think they're all Michigan fans. All right. I think if all the Michigan fans left, then we would shut down the channel. So Michigan fans, if you ever get to a place where you're sick of me, or I guess maybe you already hate me. I don't know what the deal is. I don't think you hate me, but I'm sure I irritate you at times. So I don't really play up to my biggest audience, do I? But we love our Michigan fans. And I thank them for our Michigan channel, because we started a Michigan channel, and I obviously hosted all the Michigan shows for a long, long time. And they were highly successful. And now TJ and John have taken that to a new level and building a community. I wasn't going to be building a Michigan community, believe me. So we have them to do that. So Michigander 1212. And again, yeah, we are struggling on our views totals here. My goodness, there's only 40 people here. We used to show up with a couple hundred. So these shows need to get shorter, I guess. Anyway, Michigander 1212. Hi, Mark. 16-team format idea. Big 10 gets 4. SEC gets 4. ACC 2. The Big 12 gets 2. The next 3. What's that mean? The next 3. And the group of 5 has to qualify to get in through a play-in game against a potential 16 seed. Oh, okay. So you got 4. That's 8, 10, 12, and 3. You've lost me on, okay, I unless I'm missing something, the math doesn't work out. So you've got 8, 10, 12. You've got 15. You need 16. And then the group of 5 plays number 16. So I don't know where they're coming from. So I guess you got next 4, and the 4th out of them plays the group of 5. Sure. I'm not crazy about it, but it's fine. It's basically Tony Petiti's model, other than you are forcing the group of 5 to win their way in. Yeah, again, I am good with the group of 5 getting a spot. Just bring them in, let them play. You know, if we're 5 years down the road and the group of 5 teams losing 45-0 every year, but we did not see that last year. We saw Boise State play a really good game against Penn State. And if anybody tells me they lost by 17 points, it wasn't a close game, watch the freaking game. You don't know what you're talking about. You either don't know anything about football or you didn't watch the game. One or the other, because anytime people bring point spreads up in games, we all know from watching football, we've seen 17-point games that were blowouts, but we've seen 17-point games that were really good games into the fourth quarter that turned out to be 17-point games. Goes either way. All right. All right. So thank you for the contribution. We came just shy. Boy, I'm going to have to cut the next shows. We're going way over time here. But the merch, folks, it's there. It's quality merch. It's great. Love it. Can't wait to get some on me. So we've got vocfb.com, vocfb.com. And I think Jackson might have dropped that. No, he's got the Amazon link, which is even more important. Well, it's close. There's the Amazon link that you can shop on Amazon. And again, if this channel ever goes away, this is going to be the last statement I'm going to make. It's going to be about the Amazon link. That is going to be the one right there. And then we got Jackson here. Thank you so much for posting that link. Jackson's all over it. You can go to vocfb.com. And no, when I make comments like that, don't worry, or not that you would worry, but in any way believe that our channel or our network is going away. All right, we're here. We got 100 people at this network now. 100 people. We did a company meeting the other day. We had 100 people on the mailing list. 100. I still can't believe that. 100 people hear the voice of college football. So we got way too many people, and we are way over time. So I apologize to the callers. So we are, again, just way over time. We came just shy of our $150 to get to hour 2. Just shy. I think $145 shy. So I'm at an hour and a half right now. And I did put some effort into preparing for this show. I'd say a half hour at least. So 2 hours, $5. YouTube takes 30% of that. I get $3. 2 hours, $3. It's a great deal being a host here at the Voice of College Football. It is a fabulous deal. 2 hours, $3. We will see you on Sunday night for the ladies of college football. You'll see me back here on Monday night. Buy some merch. It's great. You'll love it.